Hey, everybody! What's going on there in TV land? How's everybody doing tonight? So we're actually starting on time for a change. Yeah, so let's get all the people on here. Let's see, we got Crypto, we got Square One, Executor, Tony. Tony is actually in the green room right now. We got Quinn. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Tony on. You guys know him, you love him. You guys been asking for him.
Hey,
Hey,
hi
Tony.
everyone. You okay? Good
Tony is
morning from
from
Blighty.
Tony is from Greedy 3D. If you guys have not checked out his channel, you've been sleeping under a rock somewhere. Go over and give the man some love. He runs one hell of a channel, and it's been taking off for you, hasn't it, Tony?
Yeah, it's good. Done well. The last video did amazing. So
Uh,
everything's looking good so far. Keep
yeah, I
smiling.
mean, I love that video. That was wow, you got like over 6,000 views on that thing,
Yeah,
man. That's
isn't it funny
nice.
how YouTube's we were saying before when the YouTube algorithm is a mystery to us all. Who
It
knows?
really
But
is.
I'll
Yeah.
take
So
it.
So Stobar, we got Mr. Joseph Childress, Mr. Bamboo Taco. All right, guys. Thank you guys for joining. So tonight we don't have a topic or anything like that. We're just going to shoot the breeze, answer some questions, maybe talk about what's going on my channel. Tony maybe will talk about what's going on his channel. Got some new exciting things, I think, for both of our channels. All right, Tony. I think you got some. You got a little bit of sponsorship kind of going on, some stuff to review and everything. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, it's a first for me really that almost in the space of a month or two, I've been approached by quite a few companies to do some reviews. Sunlu being one, which I'm really chuffed about, and I did that review a couple of weeks ago. But I've got some PLA filament I've been
Awesome.
gifted to do a review on. Something that you probably know about some of these, which I think you've been
Yes.
given as well. So I'll do a review on some airbrushes, but an airbrush with a like a trigger
Yep.
gun one. Which
The trigger.
I've always wanted to try one of those.
So they
Yeah,
just sent me
so
some stuff today that I got to kind of plug a little bit. I
some
just got them in the
shinies as
mail
well.
today. Like when I come home, my wife goes, "You have Christmas gifts." So they actually sent me some of their paints,
Oh, wow.
some of the paints here, and then I got a airbrush cleaning pot that they sent me. And
Wow.
then I've got actually a couple of their lower line airbrushes that they sent me. Whoop. So yeah, gallery, thank you very much. Going
Yeah,
to be
well,
doing a
thank you,
pretty cool
Gary.
review.
That's brilliant. They
Yeah.
did talk about because I think they sent you was it some kind of
Oh,
spray booth or something?
they did send me a spray booth, and I also got the GT918 compressor. It's sitting right here, but
Oh,
it's a little too
lovely. So
heavy to hold up in front of the thing.
a
So
few reviews are coming from you for those.
right. So they said,
Wonderful.
well, I mean, they were really nice. They said that, hey, test it out. If you like it, do a review on it. If you don't like it, you don't have to do a review. I mean, so it wasn't any really major
No
obligation
pressure.
or anything like that.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I've
I'm
got
still obliged. If somebody sends me something as a sort of gift, I'll do a review on it, but it'll be an honest review.
right,
I won't tell people to buy things or recommend things if I don't like them or I don't recommend them at all. So
right,
it doesn't
right.
work that way. You've got to be honest. You've got to be honest.
Yeah. So let's see what else we got. Some Max G. Hello, Daryl, Sergeant. How you doing? Christopher Nash. How are you guys? This is Christopher's first of the live streams. Welcome aboard, Christopher. So yeah, I've been like getting bombarded with requests and stuff like that from these companies that want me to do reviews for them. And some of them, I turn down because I just don't.
Mm,
I look at the product and I'm just kind of like, yeah,
mm,
it's not my cup of tea. I got some pretty neat stuff coming up. One that I'm really super excited about is, and I've done a video for this company, Black Forge Games, and I've done the Tenjin model for them, but they've got a Patreon that's getting ready to kick up, and I'm actually doing their. Hope I don't get in trouble for this, but I'm going to show it anyway. This is the Tenjin bust that's coming out and their Patreon. This is just part of it. And this thing is about 1/3 scale, but look at the detail in that thing. I mean, it's amazing, beautiful model. I'm actually going to do the face right here in clear resin, and I'm going to put LEDs in it. They have already got it pre-hollowed out to where you can put LEDs and stuff in it. But like this is the chest plate here, I mean, amazing, just detailed,
Nice.
really, really nice. But those guys over there are super nice. I think they there's like a 4-person team or whatever like that, and yeah, they're really, really cool. So looking forward to that one because I
Mhm.
love their models. I love their models, and that model was printed on the GK2. So you want to talk about the GK2 since you finally got one?
Yeah, I managed to secure one. I did have to buy it, so it wasn't a gift or anything.
Right.
You know, 'cause they're not the cheapest of machines, are they? But my God, it's a fantastic printer.
I
It's
love it.
amazing, and I cannot wait for the winter. Normally, I dread the winter, especially in this man cave where it's freezing and I'm sitting here with icicles. But I'm looking forward to this winter because I'm going to play with the heater. I'm going to be able to print all year without any
Oh
problem. So
yeah,
yeah, it's a lovely printer, absolutely
yeah.
gorgeous. It's
I
working in the background now, actually. I don't know if you can all hear loads of noise in here. And sorry if you can. There's a couple of printers
yeah.
going. You know what it's like.
I probably got a little background noise myself because I've got an air conditioning system running here. It's 111 degrees outside right now with the heat
Oh
index.
God.
It's
All right.
it's
All
brutal
right.
here.
It's not that
So
like that here. Stop it.
right. So Joseph, I got to show this. Joseph said he's been sending emails to Monument and Hobby suggesting they make a creative collector and greedy 3D signature line of paints. Love it, love it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that
So
would be
I told the
cool.
viewers last week or week before last one, whenever we did the last live stream, that they need to go ahead and contact Monument Hobbies and say, hey, we need a creative collector line because we need something besides minis. We need statue
Mm,
paints. I mean, so get the line, get the word out there about our channels and the hobby itself and everything. So
cool.
yeah, but yeah, absolutely. So you want to talk about a little bit about what you got coming up in the future? I mean, what's the future look like for Greedy 3D?
I
I
think
mean,
I kind of fly by the seat of my pants with things really. I don't know, there's no I don't have a long term goal. I just enjoy doing what I do and I'll play things week for week. There's a few models coming out on the Star Wars Patreon that I really want to do. There's a Luke Skywalker on a Tom. Oh God, I can't wait to do that. So
oh, yeah, I saw that
that's
one. That
July. Oh, it's gonna be awesome.
that concept
That's
looks
July.
nice. I like that. I might
Yeah.
actually print that one.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm Star Wars, as you know, but that's a must. Obviously, whatever Wicked may be producing might be on the cards. But I'm going to do some review videos. I'm going to do some making videos. I've got this one coming up real soon. I've done the Iceman.
Iceman. Yeah.
Yeah, started playing with some of the Green Stuff World Frosty
Oh,
serum,
cool.
licensing, whatever it's
I
called,
like
which I've
that.
never used before. So I'm not quite sure if that looks like a dodgy print, but it's definitely got some of that icy stuff on it. And I'm
Oh
doing
yeah.
the base, which is huge. I might
Yeah.
not do all the base. I'll play it by ear. But yeah, so I don't really have I don't have any kind of strategy. I just enjoy myself. And if I see something I like, I'll print it. I've
That's the way
just
to do it.
printed a bit of a Darth Vader with
I
some new
like that.
PLA
Yeah.
that they sent me, which it's really
Is
lovely
that
stuff.
something that you? That's some of the filament that you were sent.
Yeah, in a nutshell, it's called Zero, which I'd never heard of them. I think they're a new
Zero.
company.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
a new company that's I believe, just started, and they sent me some stuff. But the quality is amazing, and I'm
Awesome.
really chuffed. So yeah, so I've got
It's
something on
amazing.
the print at the moment.
It's amazing how like so many hidden gems are out there with some of these companies. I
Mm,
think myself when I first got into this, I was thinking maybe there was just like 4 or 5 companies producing this stuff,
mm,
Elgu, Creality, and things
mm.
like that. And then once you get into it, and then you really start researching everything, then you realize, man, there's a lot out there. And
Yeah, there
with
is.
everything going the way it is right now and printing and stuff, there's more stuff out here now than ever before.
I
It's
think
crazy.
it's a really good time to be into 3D printing, isn't it? At the moment,
Yes. Yeah.
it started off with a few printers here and there, and now it's really taken off, and loads of people are getting into the hobby, and the quality of the printers and the quality of the merchandise that's coming with them
Yeah.
is great. I think it's a great time to be in this hobby at the moment.
Yeah. And I mean, that really is, it's a buyer's market right now. I mean, because
Mm,
everybody's thriving for competition, everybody's wanting your dollar and everything.
mm,
But yeah, I mean, you definitely, but the downside of that is, and the guy told me today, he says the bad side of that is you have to do so much research that it kind of overwhelms you at times, where you don't
mm,
know whose word to take on certain things versus,
mm,
is this correct or is this not correct? Do you do this or do you not do that?
mm,
So, and that makes sense. So, for those people that have that issue, the only thing that I say is uh, get somebody reputable who's been doing it for a minute, and don't overwhelm yourself and go out and just, I mean, you can watch videos and stuff like that all day long, but get with somebody who knows what they're doing, ask questions.
mm.
And if that person refuses to answer some of those questions for you, then don't follow them. I mean, that's
Yeah,
just my
yeah, yeah.
personal opinion. You know,
I
you
agree
and I,
completely.
right? You and I can probably vouch for you if somebody wants to, learn something or whatever, they can contact me, they can contact you, and we'll talk to them
Mm,
and kind of walk them through it. And a lot of times, if I don't know the answer, which sometimes I don't know the answer, I'll point them in the
mm,
right direction to learn the answer.
mm.
But I think that if you are not humble enough to help the people that help you, especially with our channels
Mm.
and stuff like that, then don't go follow
Yeah,
them. That's
no, I
just my
totally
opinion.
agree. I think when I first started in this hobby, as everybody knows, it's a minefield, and you go in blind, and you
Yes.
watch things and you learn, and it's a learning curve. It's like anything. It's like work, isn't it? You learn everything like in a book. You get into your factory, you get into whatever you do for a living, and then you learn the job. And it's like this, isn't it? You make stupid mistakes and you learn from it. And then when you
Hmm.
see somebody asking a question, you think, well, I was asking that question 2 years ago, or 12 months ago, or last week. So
Right.
yeah, you've got to help each other out. And I get a plethora of questions daily, really, but it's really important, I think, really important to help each other out. And
Yeah.
and if you don't know, you're quite right. You say, look, I don't really know. I had somebody ask me. Look, they were talking about today. One of the questions I got this morning was about FEPS and the tension of FEPS.
Hmm.
And my answer has always been, I've never really paid that much attention to it. I just put it on, and it kind of works. I
Right.
think you can overthink things sometimes, but you'll ask other people and they'll go into the depth of it. So I've said, do a bit of research. This is my answer, but do some research on it and then learn from your own experiences. And I think it's
Yeah.
important to do it that way.
Yeah, I get a lot of that. People ask me what spacer I use, and I'm like, I don't use a spacer.
No,
I
I
put the
didn't.
thing down and I put it in there, and I do it very simply. I get a scalpel, I poke the holes in the areas and stuff, and then I put the screws in. I kind of do the long way, the short way, and then wrap around, and that's how I change a FEP. So
I probably
um,
do it wrong, but it works. And
I
that's
don't
it.
think there's a wrong
Don't
way
make
to
a
do
fuss
it.
about it. Yeah,
I mean,
keep it simple.
yeah, I mean, the first time I ever changed one, oh my god, it was in a Mars no less, and those things are like teeny tiny anyway. I
Yeah, I
put that thing
remember Mars. Yeah.
Yeah, I put that thing on. It was so loose that when the plate went down and pulled back up, it was like I heard like this pop, and I thought, oh my god, I broke the printer. And all it was the FEP was so loose, it was popping. Lesson learned. So I did
And
some
that's what it's all about.
yeah, I mean, that's the fun thing about it is you can screw up and eventually you'll get it right, and then
Yeah.
what not to do next time. So
I, I
that's
ran
pretty
out of
cool.
I ran out of resin on a print the other day. Basic rookie mistake we all do. Who hasn't done that? Who hasn't
Yeah,
screwed their VAT? We've all done these mistakes that everybody else is doing.
right.
But
So
when you see beginners pulling their hair out quite literally over things, you've got to help people because I remember buying it was an FL Sun DMA printer. And
mhm.
it would not stick to the bed. Nothing would stick to the bed. And I spent hours and hours of my life that I will never get back trying to get this thing to stick to the bed. And somebody said, use some tape, use some printer's tape. And I put some printer's tape on it, solved the problem. It was like, thank the Lord. So you've just got to learn and you've got to help each other out. Yeah.
Yeah, I still use the hairspray method. I just take
What's
some.
that? Hairspray? No idea.
Yeah,
What's that?
right. Well, I just take the hairspray, coat the bed
Yeah.
down, and bam, there it goes. It prints.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I just got in today as well. I got a bunch of crap in today. I got the Elegoo Neptune Max
Oh,
in today.
wow.
So yeah, so now I can print helmets all in one shot, and I'm excited about it because I've been wanting to do stuff like that for a while. And
Yeah.
so Elegoo sent me this printer, and again, it was one of those
Wow.
things where here, just try it out. We don't want you to do a review. Just here, see tell us what you think about it. Maybe some feedback on what we can do to improve it or whatever like that. I'm feeling like, wow, this is pretty cool because
Oh,
normally
amazing.
something like that they go to Uncle Jesse,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
Uncle Jesse's the Elegoo dude. Yeah, and I'm like, yeah. But I chatted with him for a minute yesterday, and he said he's working on his Magneto life size bust or his life
Oh,
size
because he
figure.
hasn't mentioned that for a while, has he?
Yeah, and he says he's using a 3D print pen to cover up the seams. He says it's kind of a mess. So I'm curious to see what he does. I like him. He's a very nice guy. He's
Yeah.
super busy, but I mean he's easy to talk to, so that's pretty cool. I like it. But yeah, I mean, so Joseph said he wasn't going to get his Max until after the 28th, and I thought the same thing. They were telling me that they're going to ship me one, but it's not going to be till after the 28th, and today's the 20th, and I got it today. So, but
What
that
do
thing
they
is,
sell for?
what's that?
What do they sell for? What's the cost of them? Do we know?
$470, I think.
Okay.
I think they're under like 470, 480, something like that, in free shipping. But yeah, I mean, and that box is massive. The build plate is
Can you
what
imagine?
huh?
I can imagine it's huge.
It's
I
a
don't know
400
where I'd put that.
Yeah, it's like a 400 by 400 by 500 millimeter build volume.
Wow.
That's big.
Incredible. But
Yeah.
to get some helmets, you've got to do a Mandalorian helmet or something like that.
Oh
That's the
yeah,
must.
of course. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I saw where Frankly Built was making whole chest armored pieces on that machine, all in one piece. That was really cool. But yeah, Joseph or Paul said, or I'm sorry, Joseph said it was 470. So yeah, but yeah, I'm excited to print with that thing. I mean, I don't do much FDM printing, but I need to because resin is super expensive.
Yeah. Well, Sunlu, the prices have just gone up in the UK. I don't know about America, but Sunlu prices have gone up because I've just been getting some more of the clear blue, and it's almost happened in a week or so that everything just seems to have started to go up a little bit. But I don't know if that's transcribed across anywhere else, but it's definitely the UK.
Yeah, I'm still buying Sunlu, but I haven't bought any resin in a while. I'm kind of switching gears a little bit. I've printed well more than enough of my share of resin figures. There's still so much out there that I really want to do. I'm working on my Ghost Rider from my Patreon right now, and that thing is 33 inches long. So it's
awesome.
massive. And then I'm working on a Punisher piece. Yeah, go figure that one. And then yeah, and I'm working on the Batman Grim Knight and the Daredevil and Kingpin from Wicked, and then I'm also working on the Tenjin bust. And then after that, I'm going to probably cool it for a little bit and do some tutorials. I know a lot of people have been asking, certain questions on tutorials and stuff. So definitely need to catch up with some of that stuff. And yeah, so yeah, I'm busy myself between my day job and doing this, and trying to establish some family time. It's tough, but it's fun. I love doing it.
It's difficult juggling, isn't it? It is. Yeah. I haven't touched. You talking about FDM? I haven't really touched an FDM printer for a long time until I had this PLA sent to me. It's been sat idle a little bit. Sometimes use it for the bases because it's not got the detail of resin. I don't tend to use it for the figures. Although having using it again this week, perhaps I should use it a little bit more because it does produce some lovely stuff, and it's a lot less messy. It's cheaper to use as well. It takes longer to do it, but I will be playing with FDM a little bit more. I think I've only got one FDM printer though, and I haven't got a host for them. So once something's on that build plate, it's there till it's finished, and I'm stuck till it's finished. But
I have a few FDM printers. I haven't even opened the box yet because I mean I've just been doing resin printing for almost 2 years now, nonstop. But I'm actually debating on doing some giveaways, some printer giveaways. But I don't. I'm just going to look into the logistics of it because I know the UPS right now is going on some possible strike and stuff like that, and I don't really want to get this stuff lost in the mail trying to send to someone. So I'm going to be looking into stuff like that. But I just, I use them for bases, but I actually want to do some cosplay stuff. So this room that you can't really see right now, and it's a flipping mess. I got everything behind me so out of order and out of whack and stuff, but I still have to get all of this cleaned up. It's official. My wife lined up the builder. We're looking at probably next Friday to build the storage room out there so we can get rid of a lot of this stuff here, and I can actually start converting this room to what it's meant for. and finish a lot of things up. So once we get all that done, I'll have a permanent streaming space. I'll have a permanent presentation space and a work area. And so I've been, she's probably in there thinking to herself right now, God, I wish he would shut the hell up because I'm tired of hearing about it. But yeah, so hopefully by the end of next week, we're making some more progress. But it's just still been so hot outside, and to try and find somebody to come out here and build the storage room and everything is, it's been hard. It's been tough because it's just been so hot out there.
I think everybody's interested in what you're doing actually, and I don't know why, but I love seeing people's workspaces, and I like seeing their collections, and I like seeing where they do what they do. I think it's just the nosiness in people, but it's great to see what someone else uses and get ideas for yourself as well. So I think your place looks amazing, and you're so lucky to have a place that big. It's great to have.
Yeah. So I mean, I've got this table that I'm sitting at right now. It's 4 feet by 8 feet. That's how big it is. And the way I did it was I have bestas on the bottom, and they're kind of map around a U shape. And all this is going to be lit up. I'm going to be painting the whole entire desk and everything. And this is kind of going to be like my presentation table whenever I want to do something big, like whenever I have a big statue or something like that. And then I'm at the end of it here, I'm going to have a streaming desk. I've got all my equipment ready and everything. All I got to do is just set it up. But this is where I will do all my live streams. And on this far wall over here, what you see behind me is there's a lot of Bestas that I've already started buying doors. I'm actually paying more for the fixtures than I am for the statues that I own, believe it or not. It's insane. But I'm going to have Bestas to wrap around this right here. And over on this side here, I'm actually going to have a shelving system set up for all of my G.I. Joe stuff, because I do a lot of 1/6 collecting of G.I. Joes, all the old sideshow stuff, the 3.0 stuff that's coming out. So I don't do just 3D printing. I do all this stuff too. And then, of course, on that side, I have all of my detolfs with all of my statues. And then on this side here, I'm going to have all my printers and my workspace. And then I'll actually kind of have a little bit of a formal sitting area here in front of this desk. So it's big. Wow. It's a big area. But I'm going to be doing it up well. There's going to be lights everywhere. I've already started buying tons of lights. I mean, the Govee lights that I kind of got turned on to those. So those are going to be all wrapped. I'm going to have all around here. I have a celestial type of ceiling that I'm going to be doing with LEDs up here because of Galactus and all this other. I mean, it's going to be wild. So, I mean, it's like I don't know if you remember like cosmic bowling and cosmic skating, when we were kids or whatever. I don't know if you had it there. But like you go cosmic skating or whatever, or bowling, they cut out all the lights and have the glow in the dark stuff everywhere and the lights and everything. That's what this place is going to be like. We're going to do we're going to do a cosmic live stream. So awesome. Yeah, I'm loving it. And I'm excited about doing it.
A man needs his man cave. That is awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
I built this place that I'm in. It's only a 10 by 8 foot room, so it's not massive. And there's no room in here. But my neighbour, once I'd had this built one, and hers is 3 times the size of this. And I look at hers thinking, why didn't I go bigger? Why didn't I get a bigger one? Because I could do with that right now, because I have no room, nowhere to go.
Yeah, I think I've seen like videos of these guys getting these tough sheds and putting them in the backyard and insulating them, putting sheetrock, putting a mini split in them and everything like that, and like doing theater rooms and everything. I think that's just the flipping coolest thing. So anytime somebody is building something or making something or whatever, I'm intrigued by it. And I like watching stuff like this. So I follow this channel now. I just found it, and I love these two people. It's called Nerd Forge. And they're
Nerd Forge. Yeah, I think I follow those. Yeah.
They're a couple from Norway, I believe. And they do some really cool stuff, and I just love it. I mean, it's just innovative and everything.
I love her accent. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so she's really, really cool. And, but I love their channel, but I love stuff like that. I mean, that's just me. I'll sit there and watch, how to build a floating deck all day long, cause that's what I'm going to do in the backyard. And I just love watching people build stuff. And
Mm.
I don't care if it sucks. I don't care if it's terrible looking or whatever. I just love people using their hands to build stuff. Yes, Square One says, I love watching Martina and Hans. That's their name. So yeah, I love watching those two guys. They're pretty cool. They got a great channel, millions of followers too, by the way. So
Wow,
I would. That's goals for my channel. Millions of views, millions
wouldn't
of
that be nice?
subscribers. Yeah,
You'll wake up in the morning and it'll all
yeah.
be true.
It's God. We were talking about it earlier about the video that you had with the Tony Stark or Tony Stank.
That one
Um,
there.
yeah, and how
Yeah,
it just and how it just
yeah.
exploded for you. I mean, that's
It's I was gobsmacked, really. I mean, again, we spoke about this so-called YouTube algorithm that everybody hears around, and you think, how does it work? What's the difference? Why is it work? But I don't understand it all. I really don't,
yeah,
and I've given up trying to understand it. Sometimes you put a video out and you think that's going to do really well. Well, you hope it will, and it doesn't. And other times you put something out and it flies. It's like, I don't know.
yeah,
I'm happy to get any views. I'm not, and I'm not trying to say that to say politically correct thing. I know that when anybody watches it and puts a like on it or puts a comment on it and says they enjoy it, that's good enough. That's all I
right.
want. No, I don't. I'm not trying to make big bucks. I'm not trying to change the world. I'm just having fun. And if somebody can enjoy what you're doing, that's fine. So 6,000 views on one video and it's still going up. I'm just
It makes you feel
happy.
good though. It makes you feel
Yeah,
good that people are actually tuning in and taking it in and everything. So yeah, I mean that's like it gets frustrating sometimes when you put a lot of work into a video and you get like 500, 600 views, something like that.
we were
But
talking about it earlier. That the Tony Stark and the Iron Man stuff. It took me weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and cost and expense. If I'd have put a video on of a dog farting, I'd have probably had like 1 million views by now. It's like, oh god,
right,
but there's no
what's the
justice in the world, is it?
I know you guys have seen it, especially you guys in the chat. The one with the chick from Wingstop, the TikTok video where I worked 10 hours and all I want is Wingstop. The original one has gotten something like 500 million views,
It's
and then
crazy.
there's
Isn't it?
another guy. He's a drummer, and he puts a drum beat to it and kind of does it up. He's gotten like 20 million views off that. And I'm like,
Crazy. My wife will often, she'll be watching something and she'll go, "You see this couple here doing whatever they're doing, something stupid, 1 million views." And you're like, just go away. I don't
right,
care. I've
yeah.
had 6,000 on that. I'm happy.
So my wife watches a lot of dog videos. Dog videos, they just blow up. I don't care. You can put a dog sitting there in front of the camera just doing this.
Well, I've got another channel called the Cockapoo Brothers of My Dogs,
Oh,
and I
you
was
do?
just messing about doing it. Yeah, it's nothing. I was just messing around doing it, and they've got a few views. My little black cockapoos, but I don't do anything with it now. But I
That's pretty
thought I'm
cool
going to
though.
throw a couple of videos out and see what happens. And a couple of people watched them, and that's fun. But
Yeah.
I don't spend any time doing it. But I think if those kind of people that produce that kind of stuff, it flies, doesn't it? Because everybody loves dogs, and everybody loves to see dogs
Yeah.
doing stupid things and
Yeah.
running around the
Every,
beach and playing.
everybody loves animal videos and stuff. I
Mm.
mean, but yeah. So maybe we can incorporate some dogs, like we can do some 3D printing with our dog sitting
Yeah,
here or something like that. And look at the pretty dog
yeah,
while I'm
yeah.
making this.
Well,
But
my videos are real professional because if you look really hard, you'll see there's a dog walking underneath the table. What the hell?
yeah, so yeah,
Yeah.
anytime you put an animal out there on video and stuff, it's instant hit. It seems like, but
Mm.
this is hard what we do. But I'm like you, I enjoy it. I mean, I
Yeah.
50 video, 50 subscribers or 500 views, whichever. I mean, I'm good with it. I mean, I was watching a certain YouTuber the other day that got flustered because he says he put a lot of time and effort into a video and it didn't produce.
I've seen that video. I know what you're talking about. I was a bit disappointed actually that you don't put comments like that out. I think
No,
if you're out there just to get views, you're not in it for the right reasons.
yeah,
And the guy that you're on about, he's such a fantastic artist, and such a shame. I was a bit disappointed with that, to be honest.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's like if I was going to worry about the cost of something, and worry about time and cost or whatever, a lot of this stuff I
Mm,
wouldn't make.
mm,
Because a lot of this comes out of my own hip pocket. I mean, I do get people giving me free resin, printer, stuff like that to do reviews for and stuff. But the majority of the stuff that I print, like this right here, sitting in the floor, that Juggernaut versus Colossus diorama, that is probably right there about $500 worth of resin by itself. And that is, I'm not even done with it. I'll get done one of these days. But I mean, if I was so worried about that, then I wouldn't do stuff like that. But my wife is like, you got such a backlog and everything. But I'm like, I can't help it. I enjoy printing. And, like I said, a lot of this stuff, I'll get resin from different companies and everything that sponsor me. But some of the stuff, comes out of my own hip pocket. My Patreon, I mean, I'm fortunate enough to get support from my Patreon members. And, but then I put all that back into the channel because I'm commissioning out models for these guys. Like we did the Punisher, the Wolverine, the Ghost Rider, and now we're doing the Kraven's Last Hunt. Those things are not cheap. So, I mean, anytime I make money from the Patreon, I put it back into the Patreon. But the rest of the stuff I do out of my own hip, and I don't bitch about it. I mean, I love it when we get, it's natural. If you're a YouTuber and you get tons of views on a video, that's great. I mean, that makes you feel good. I mean, that makes you feel good that people are watching your stuff. But, and sometimes I'll go, oh man, I think I only got like 1,000 views. I wonder what I did wrong. Sometimes you may question yourself, but you don't get to the point to where you're just like downright pissy and tell it to the world. I think it's very unprofessional.
I agree. And I think that's not good. That shows your character really, and that's not right. And again, I think I make videos that I enjoy, and if somebody else enjoys it, it's a bonus. I don't do things that are out of my comfort zone, and I don't do things that I think someone else is going to enjoy, but I don't enjoy doing. So anything I do, I'll enjoy doing it, and I think that's important, and that's the honesty of the channel from my perspective. And if you don't enjoy what I do, that's fine, because everybody's got an opinion, everybody's different, but enjoy it. And you say financially wise, you're right. I've spent a fortune on this hobby, and I'm not bitching about that because I've enjoyed every penny I've spent on doing it, and I'll continue to spend every penny that I can afford on doing what I'm doing. And if I get a little bonus, like a little bit of resin or a little bit of PLA, it is a bonus, and I'm lucky, and I know that, and that's lucky.
So here's the question: when you produce a video and you publish it, do you have these haters already hitting the dislike button on you?
There's a guy, and I'm not going to name him, but I get a lot of comments from him, complete negative, always negative. And I think, why you can still continue to watch if you really don't like it? I mean, and you really do need to get a bit of a life if all you can do is send hate stuff. And I'm always courteous to him, and I'm always polite to him, even though I don't probably feel that way, because you think that's not really cricket. But I don't get people, but that's the nature of people, isn't it?
Right.
And we're our humble age, we've got a bit of life experience, and you can't please everyone all the time, and that's fine. And there's always going to be people like that, but just
But the thing about it is, I guess maybe they don't understand. The thing about it is any type of interaction is good for the algorithm. So I mean, you want to dislike on my video, go right ahead, because all that does is show me that you're watching it, and shows YouTube that you're watching it. That's fine. I mean, we all agree to disagree sometimes. But I can publish a video, I can hit the button and go back and click on it, refresh it, and this certain person, and I'm pretty sure you know who it would be, or we probably have the same people, but this person will dislike it every single time, and I'm just like, go right ahead, my friend. I think it's just comical at this point, but it is what it is. So
we've said this before, haven't we? That if you can't accept that, if you can't deal with that, then don't put videos out, because you're going to get that, aren't you? But I
got to have thick skin.
I really don't. I'm not doing it to keep the world happy. I'm doing it because I love doing it. And if you like it, you do. And if you don't, you don't. But I don't know whether people get the time. Perhaps they just sit at home dissing people's videos. I don't know. But
I just like the fact that this person has me on, has the notification bell on my videos. He's all game for it. So if you're out there, you know who you are. Have the day, go ahead. Make sure to dislike this one here too. I don't care.
Please leave a comment.
I mean, but
Yeah.
we're all having fun here. I got people. Let's answer a couple of questions here. I got Executor here. He wants to know, what kind of yellow did I use for the Wolverine bust from Wicked, or does anyone know? I used a deep, I can't remember the actual name of it, but it's like a brown yellow is what I used for a base. And then I did a light brown wash. And then once I got done with that, then I actually went back over it with a lighter, I think it was a sunshine yellow or something like that, to accent and everything. So I hope that helps you out. But just my thing is just experiment a little. Did you do a bust?
That yellow.
There you go.
I did a Wolverine one, the same as this.
Okay.
But it fell off and smashed to pieces. So unfortunately, it's. Oh, I hate that when that happens. It met its maker in the bin. But that was Demonic Yellow, I think it was, from Army Painter, which I think is a real good all rounder. So I used that and just put a bit of a wash over it to dirty it up a bit.
Okay. So here, Paul has a question about commissions. How much do commissions cost? That is a $1 million question, because it depends on the artist. Depends on what you want to get. Do you want to get a bust? Do you want a full figure? Do you want a museum pose? Do you want a static pose? Do you want an action pose? What kind of level of details do you want? I can tell you that if you want a good artist, do your research and ask questions. Not all good artists are expensive, but if you are getting into the thousands of dollars, if you want a really good commission. What I do is I work with FP Artworks. He has been great to me. Anything that I let him pretty much have free reign on a lot of stuff. So that helps out a lot. I don't give a lot of, I don't pressure him into, hey, I need this done by this time, by this time. I don't have any, type of deadlines or whatever like that from the guy. So he respects that. And he's the one who done our Punisher. He did the Wolverine and he did the Ghost Rider, and he's doing the Craven's Last Hunt with Spider-Man. And I love his work. Super nice guy. And if you find somebody like that, then stick with him. But he is super awesome. But again, commissions are not cheap. Now you can find somebody for a few $100s, but you're going to get what you pay for. And then you can find some overinflated, egocentric maniac who wants to 10 grand because he thinks his is better than everybody else's. You can go that route. But it's a subjective question, really. I mean, because you once you shop around a little bit, you can have sticker shock. I mean, I cannot believe some of these guys. I mean, there's some artists that I talk to, and they're not even really all that great. $15,000. What the hell are you think you're made out of? Gold? I mean, but hey, they have their price. It's either take it or leave it. I get it. So, yeah. So that's crazy. That's, but yeah, commissions can be expensive. What I do to offset the cost is my Patreon, anything that goes into it, and probably a little bit out of my hip pocket to pay for, for the commission or whatever. That's what I use, but I use pretty much 100% of what comes into my Patreon. And I only give it basically to the $10 tier. I mean, let's face it. I got some people that donate a couple of dollars. I get some people that donate $5, $10. But if you want the $10, the model, then you have to join the $10 tier. It's the only way I can pay for it. Because if I say, hey guys, just join the Patreon and you can get the model, then everybody's going to do the $2 one, and then I won't be able to put the money back in to have the commission made. So, but yeah. Let's see. Let's see. I saw some other questions. So Christopher says, I actually like it when a content maker breaks down the cost of their hobby, gives newbies an idea of the cost, but being negative is unpleasant to watch. Exactly. I mean, there's a way to break things down for everybody to understand and be positive about it. And I'll tell you this. the spectrum of getting into 3D printing, you know this, Tony, can go from here to wherever. It's just what you put into it mainly. I mean, like you can get out you can go out and buy a really cheap and expensive printer, and just print, a few things that you want here and there. You don't have to spend a lot of money. But if you're obsessed like we are, then the cost it'll get you. I mean, you can start forking out tons of money for this stuff. So, just be mindful of it, do research, and enjoy it. I always tell people, don't get into this for a business. If you get into it because you like it and then you turn into a business, it's one thing. But if you go straight in and go, man, I'm just going to make me a ton of money doing 3D prints, and I'm going to do some flexi snakes and stuff like that. Don't do that.
Forget it. Yeah,
forget it. It's not that easy. Yeah. It's not that easy, but I just have fun with it. Just like anything, like I tell people with sports, if you're a sports nut, don't think you're going to get into the NBA and make LeBron James money, because that's a once in a lifetime thing, and at one point he probably enjoyed it and that's why he did it. So, but it's a crapshoot. It really is.
I think you can deliver a message as well and talk without being negative, because a message is, if something's really expensive, you don't put a negative on it. You just talk about the cost of things. And if you try to work out, can I afford to do this hobby on paper, then you can't, because you spend a fortune. But it's your hobby and it's what you enjoy doing, and if you can't afford it, you don't spend it. And no, it's one of them. I don't see that. In life, I'm not negative in life. I don't see the point of it, because what is the point?
Like my wife has gotten into these little gems that you put on these, like I don't know what it's called. I'm sure
my wife does that too.
Really?
You stick it with a little thing, and then you pick it up and you stick it on the sticky stuff.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she loves it. Yeah.
And she loves it. And I'm like, you go and you do what you want to do, sweetheart. I mean, but she loves it. So that's pretty cool. I'm glad that your wife does something like that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah. So you'll be sitting there and you'll see a little glisten on the floor. I know what that is. And there's one liner. Yeah. It's a little double-sided sticky things, and you pick them off and you use a little blue tacky thing. And
so she got kind of like the gothic sort of thing, because we're just morbid people and we like skulls and stuff like that. But she's having a ball with it. She's loving putting that stuff on there, and she's good at it. I mean, I paint,
I haven't got the patience for
fine detail stuff, but I do not have the patience to do something like that. That's real tedious, and I'm like, no, I'm out.
I have zero patience, but I can paint something for hours. How's that work? I don't quite get it. But,
it's just something. It's just one thing that if you enjoy. I mean, but that's out of my comfort zone. Christopher wants to know, what's the biggest print to date, either cost or size? For me, it's Galactus. What about you?
I don't tend to go huge, purely because I've got nowhere to put it. I think the biggest thing I've done was the Captain America shield, which that's probably the biggest thing I've done. So no, I know your stuff is a lot bigger than mine, but if I do that, I don't know where I'm going to put it, to be honest. So I don't tend to do it too big.
So as far as Galactus, you'd be surprised how much it cost, because it wasn't very much, because I did most of it in FDM. And the only resin part on it were the arms and the head, and the celestial being the celestial head. Everything else was FDM. So I think I probably realistically got about $150 in FDM and probably about $60 in resin. So all in all, probably about $225, $250 tops in that whole entire 4'4" statue versus, this thing behind me, which is probably, like I said, $500 to $600 in resin alone. And that's not including labor, and I don't even really factor labor into it because it's something I enjoy. So, Well,
the shield that I did was about 3 rolls of PLA, 4 rolls of PLA. So not hugely expensive, but to have a Captain America shield is priceless.
Oh, absolutely. You can't put it. I'm going to be printing some of that stuff like that on this Neptune Max. Trust me.
In one go.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I do not want to do is I don't want to print stuff in sections and have to cover up seams and everything. I want to do it in one shot and be done with it. That's like I got this Frozen Mega 8K and this thing is massive. I mean, the build plate on this thing is super huge, and I'll show you. This was all one piece on that thing. Look how big
Wow.
that thing is.
That's just
And
incredible.
this is the detail thing. This is a Punisher from oh geez, I can't think of the guy's name. He's going to probably kill me. RB3, I think, R3D. But yeah, he did the base with Wolverine's face on it, Spider-Man, Daredevil, Kingpin, Bullseye, and then I really dig this one over here, which is Jigsaw, because nobody has done a Jigsaw Punisher
Yeah.
piece yet. But this thing is, I mean, this is my head. That's how big this thing is. It's massive. But I did this all in one piece. So I'm like,
How much
yes.
resin's in that?
What's that?
How much resin's in that?
2 kilograms.
Wow.
That's it. So the vat on that thing holds 1.5 kilograms, and I think I probably put like another 0.5 kilogram in there.
Does it auto
47
feed
hours. What's
Oh
that?
wow. Does it auto feed the resin, that one?
No, that one's not an auto feed. So you kind of have to, like, I put it on
Keep
at
an eye on
night. Put it on at night and get up in the middle of the night sometimes, or in the morning, and go in there and look, open up the doors like, oh, it's low. I got to put some in it. But yeah, it was a 47-hour print, but
Wow.
worth it. I mean, that thing turned out gorgeous, and I can't wait to finish up with it. I got Ghost Rider's base over here, and it was dripping a little bit of resin out. I don't want to get it out and show you, but I had to do that in 3 sections. And it's literally that wide. It's probably a good 18 inches wide. And when you put all 3 together, it's 33 inches long. So it's almost 3 feet long. But that is going to be one badass looking statue when I get done with it. I can't wait to finish it. But so you got.
I did do a battle droid head, a B1 battle droid from Star Wars before I did videos, and that was life size Star Wars, life size, real to me, and it was huge, and that was PLA, and I think there was about 3 or 4 rolls of PLA in that. So, but I don't tend to make huge things because I don't have anywhere to put it. No other reason for that really. So,
did you see the lady who did the sand crawler, the 1/6 scale sand crawler in PLA?
no.
It looks cute. It looks
I think I have
great.
seen that actually. Yeah,
it's huge.
Yeah, the Jawa Sandcrawler. Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah,
it's nice. I mean, that's the kind of stuff I really want to do. And I want to do this stuff to kind of go with some of the 1/6 characters that I make, and then I buy the hot toys and stuff. I don't buy too many hot toys. I make my own. So
yeah, I used to buy hot toys, but like you say,
you talk about costly. That's real costly. So let's see here. Let's get back to a couple more. So you got a shout out here from Sarge. He says, thanks for letting him know about the sound the other day. He was waving his mic all around.
And I think, Sarge, that's really important. We talk to each other and let each other know, because people won't tell you sometimes, and you need to know if there's something you need to put right. And the whole making videos is a learning curve, and I think it's important that we learn from it. And your content is lovely. It's great stuff. And you've got a real passion for it, and that's great. And you can see that in your videos. But if somebody doesn't tell you if there's a problem, you never know. And I'd rather know if something I'm putting out there.
To give a shout out, to give a shout out to Sarge here, he did a video on a lot of these, and I actually have a bunch here from a different company, but he did a lot of your organizing boxes and stuff like that. But
I saw that. They look good.
But he did some files. He downloaded some files, I guess, off of CG Trader, and I downloaded those files too. And they're like this, so they're like kind of like you get skulls and different things on there. But he has a super nice setup. It's set up like a dungeon.
I was going to ask Sergeant, did he print every single one of those? And if he did, how long did that take?
He said,
because
I think a month.
His setup is huge. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty good size. I think he said it took like a month to do. So yeah, I mean, but this was resin and this is all solid. But it took like an hour and 27 minutes to print on the GK2. But I thought about doing that, and I'm thinking, man, that's really cool. But I wanted to give him a shout out on that because he inspired me to do that.
Yeah,
and
I like really awesome what he's done.
Yeah, he's got a nice little setup there. You just got to paint him now, Sarge. But yeah. So yeah. Let's see here else we got. Yes, R3D Studio. That's who that one was from. Um, it's not this R3D Studio base. God, who is it then? Oh my God, it escapes me. No, you're right. It's Black Owl Studios. Black Owl Studios. But I am printing one from R3D. And his base is multiple pieces. That's right. I got so much going on, Tony. I just forget. I feel
Yeah.
embarrassed. But
You see,
yeah,
this is the benefit of only having a few printers. I know what's on them, but
man.
lost it
So
anymore.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, that one's from Black Owl Studios. He did a Punisher. It looks really, really nice.
Mm.
I really, and I think he's doing a Super Scroll now. It's getting ready to come out on Patreon. That looks pretty cool too. I need a jigsaw. Somebody's got to do a jigsaw. I mean, just somewhere. Hello, patrons, sculptors. We need a jigsaw, please. Jigsaw statue to go with Punisher. Anyway, so let's see.
We need some alien stuff. That's what we need.
Alien
Alien.
stuff.
Oh
Um,
yes.
Spoiler alert, it's coming. You've seen it. So what do you think of that?
Um, yeah, I've already bought some resin already. Let's
Oh,
just say, if you like aliens, there's something on the horizon that's going to blow your minds.
it's going to be
Tell 'em what.
very, very cool. It's going to be very, very wicked. Let's just
Mm,
say that.
yeah, you need
uh,
to get away from her, you bitch. Yeah,
yep.
move on.
And the
Move on.
infamous words, "Get away from her, you bitch." Oh, those are famous line. That's the.
Uh,
That's like the. I'll be back. I'll be back.
where's my alien tattoo? Yay! Look at that.
Oh, cool.
I love aliens. Yeah,
So you're a big alien buff, aren't you?
I love aliens. Yeah, it's my
Oh
favourite
man.
genre. Star Wars and aliens, I think, is me thing, me bag. Yeah, I love that. I went to sorry, off topic a little bit, but they did like an aliens live show at the National Space Centre in Leicester, where you go along and there's people dressed as colonial marines and aliens and predators, and they chase you around this building in like with guns. Brilliant, great big kids thing, awesome. So I love stuff like that. Yeah,
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay.
very sad, but very cool.
Quinn says to have the jigsaw for the next Patreon model. So I don't want to do stuff that I like necessarily. I don't necessarily put a poll out in the Patreon or whatever like that, but I want to do some of the that everybody likes because
Mm.
they come in and they're supporting my channel. So in that case, I want to do something that they want, not necessarily just what I want. I may commission something out for myself later on if somebody doesn't do anything. But yeah, I would love to have a nice jigsaw print. Not, I don't think anybody's ever done a jigsaw statue.
Mm.
So let's see here. Oh, here we go. Well, wait a second. I'm scrolling down the comments, so I'm a little bit behind. Sorry. It's trying to get pieces to complete collection. So if you want a jigsaw, I'll get to the studio, work on one. All right. So we have a winner, chicken dinner. All right.
Yay!
I'm in for that one. Um, okay, Quinn says, I don't know if you do this here. 3D Kalos does the best alien
Oh, I've not heard
models.
of those. Yeah.
Have you
Do they
heard of them?
do the aliens? I haven't heard of those. No. Do they do
Okay.
the aliens or do they do the characters? I'd really like to get all the characters. Hot Toys did quite a few of them, and I would like to get some printed. So Hicks, Hudson, Apo, etc. So I wonder if they do anything like that. I'll have to look that up.
That would be worth looking into.
Mm.
Uh, yeah. So
I get not everybody's cup of tea, so it might not be the mass market, but certainly what I would like.
yeah, I would. What was that they come out with for Hot Toys? They did the whole Predator line, and they come out. I think they come out with the Predator, the Pred Alien, or whatever like that. Those was pretty
Mm.
cool. I like to see a statue like that. That one was
Mm.
pretty neat. But yeah, I love aliens too. I love Bill Paxton. I mean,
Yeah,
he was
it
just a
was
great actor to
fabulous, wasn't
me.
it? Mm.
But yeah, I, Bill Paxton. Fact, when he passed away, he was in the movie Twister, and I was watching some of the facts on him. So him and Helen Hunt had to they burned their retinas from some of the the flashing lights and stuff like that, some of the bright lights while they were doing some of the thunderstorm scenes. And when they're actually under the bridge, when they're holding on, and they actually did the actual, that wasn't CGI, that was all the mud slinging in their face and everything. They had mud going in their eyes and damaged their retinas a second time. And
Wow.
then there was actually a group of storm chasers that when Bill Paxton passed away, they did a weather related type thing where they did the BP beacons like in several states and made like a big B and a big P for Bill Paxton. That was super cool. I just thought I'd throw that in there.
No, wonderful.
But I love, he was game over, man, game over.
Yeah. I met quite a few of the actors from it. I know we're getting turned this into an aliens, but yeah, at a London Comic Con, and I got some signatures from them. But Bill Paxton wasn't there, but it was quite a few of the others were, and it was a great experience. Great.
Yeah, he come to Memphis one time on Beale Street, and he was doing a charity event, I think for St. Jude, and this was like 20 years ago. And a lot of the people will go, "Hey, you got to do the line from Aliens, man. You got to do the line." And he stands up and he goes, "Game over, man!" Oh, it was great. The crowd went wild, and it was great.
I took a pulse rifle with me that I got Hicks to sign. What's his name? I can't remember his name. Terrible. Got Hicks to sign it, and Frost was sat to his left, and he turned around and he went, "It's been a while since I've held one of these," and it was like, "Oh, it's like, you can't write that kind of beauty." Fabulous.
Yeah. The other one from Twister. We got cows. I like that. It's awesome. Dorothy. Dorothy's gonna fly. I think I watched that Twister movie, and I'm not exaggerating, at least 30 times, just because of him. I mean, to me, he's still one of the great action B-list actors. I don't think he got enough credit in a lot of his movies, but rest in peace. He was a good actor. I really liked him.
I'll tell you who was lovely. The guy that plays Apone, Al Matthews. I haven't seen him in anything else apart from Aliens, but he was there, and he was in character all the way through. I think it was just him, because he used to be in the Marines, and he was just that way, and he was a lovely, lovely guy. Sergeant Apo, just a wonderful guy. I will not mention Aliens again. I am so sorry. Shut up.
You can mention Aliens all you want to, because you're not. I don't think anybody here is going to go, "Hey, stop it."
Yeah, shut up. Now we're bored of Aliens.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. He was in the sequel, The Predator 2. He was the cop who got slaughtered on the train.
The chief, wasn't he? Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Right. He was. What was the lady's name? Maria Conchita Alonso. Was that her name?
Oh, wow. Right? I'm not sure.
Yes. But he was like.
When I got killed, he was pregnant. Yeah.
Yeah, he was skinned alive on the train, whatever. But yeah, he wasn't in that movie long enough. But yeah, that was a good movie. I like the first one better, of course, the first Predator.
Yeah,
but classic. I think the Danny Glover one was a nice one. And did you see?
Sorry, go on.
Did you see where the Hot Toys is doing the Prey collection next?
No, I haven't seen that. Wow.
Yeah, so they announced that they're going to be doing the Prey, which I love that movie. I mean, that was really good. So yeah, Ruben Blades is on there too. Yeah. Paxton was great in Hatfields and McCoys. I remember that too. Yeah, that was a good movie. Surveillance is my specialty. Yeah, I read that one from Predator 2. Yeah. Everything was a specialty in that movie. But yeah, I'm curious to see what Hot Toys is going to do with the Prey collection. I might actually have to get those. Yeah. Oh,
I printed the Alien and the Naru, and I thought, beautiful print, and it will come out really lovely. And I did the Predator in clear in the background. I love it. Really like it. Yeah. There's a video. Go check it out. Yeah.
Weird Science. Yeah, he was great in Weird Science. Chet was
classic
his name.
Film. Wow.
Oh, classic film. Kelly LeBrock was every little school dream. Oh man. When I was young, Kelly LeBrock, you're like sitting there, you're watching a movie like this the whole time with Kelly LeBrock. But she was married to Steven Seagal.
Really?
Yeah, they were married for a while. Wow. And here's the funny thing, my little story about Steven Seagal. My ex-wife and myself, we had dinner with him and his I guess his second or third wife, and he is actually one of the coolest guys to sit down and talk to. You think
Wow.
he was a mob boss, because I mean, he's like, well, let me tell
It's like
you,
mafia.
let me tell you a little bit about this right here. Yeah, I'm a double black belt and something Aikido, and he was really nice to talk to. He was down to earth. His wife was very quiet, but really good people. It was pretty
Under
cool.
Siege, great film.
Yeah.
I only watched that for the birthday cake. Moving on.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, so he says we love aliens. He's meeting Hicks at the end of this month. That's what Michael Bay.
Michael Bain. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
where is he at a Comic Con? Is he? How's he meeting him? Oh, we need to know
I
the
know he's
details.
been making his rounds at some of the conventions.
Mm.
We don't get any good conventions around here where I live. I mean, some of the comic book conventions, and you might get somebody exciting every now and then, like Will Sportatio or somebody that's kind of he's known, but he's not very well known. But you're not going to get like a Jim Lee or anything like that around here.
Well,
I mean,
interesting story, really. I used to manage a guy whose brother was Mike Perkins, who was a Marvel artist,
mhm.
and I said to his brother one day, "You can have this annual leave if you get me a signed picture from your brother." And he did. And his brother turned up and he said, "You need to draw me." So he's drawn me a Spider-Man. He did it in the car, and
Oh,
I've got a
wow.
signed 3D, a signed Marvel artist, Mike Perkins, who I then became friends with because I met him at a Comic Con, and I keep in touch with him regularly now. Friends on Facebook, kind of friends. And we talk a lot. And he does some fantastic stuff still. I love the work he does. But it's
Yeah.
just, to talk to someone who actually worked for Marvel was fantastic.
I actually
Fantastic.
love going to these conventions and seeing some of the artists that are not really well known and seeing some of the work that they
Yeah,
do.
it's
Uh,
incredible, isn't it?
yeah, it's really really nice. I've got a few that when they were not well known. I've got some stuff back from the '80s and early '90s from different artists that have gotten pretty big. But I still got their original artwork. What was blah, blah, blah. I got a lot of pieces from John Byrne. I was on a John Byrne kick for a while, and he did a lot of sketches for me. He did one Punisher for me.
Mm.
I will tell you, the one person who was the biggest complete jerk when I went to go meet him was Todd McFarlane. He was such an asshole. He was, and this was back in like 91, 92 when I went to Comic Con. He was there.
Mm.
And I'm a big avid Punisher fan. I mean, I have tons of crap of Punisher, and that's my character. So I went there and I had a sketch pad and everything like that. And back then they were like I think he was charging like $100 to do a sketch. And I went up to him and he says, "What would you like to have? What would you like for me to sketch for you?" And I said, "Punisher." He goes, "What? Wait a second. I don't do Punisher." I said, "What?" He goes, "I don't do Punisher. I've never made Punisher." He goes, "And I'm not going to start." He goes, "I don't like the character." I said, "I can respect that, but you asked me what I wanted you to sketch." He goes, "No, I don't want you to, I don't want to sketch Punisher." I was like, crushed. I was like, "Todd," I sat there in front of him. I was like, "Todd, really? Come on, man." He's like, "No, I will not draw Punisher." So to this very day, I have never seen a Todd McFarlane Punisher. Not saying that there's not one out there, but I have
Mm.
never
Just not
seen
seen
him
it.
draw the Punisher.
Wow.
Maybe like in a silhouette in a far off distance or something, he's might have done some character. But I have a challenge for anybody. Anybody that can find me an actual Todd McFarlane drawn Punisher, Frank Castle, let me know because I would love to see it. I've been collecting for 35 years of Punisher stuff, and I've always wanted to see an original Todd McFarlane Punisher, but nope, he refused to draw it for me. So I left from there, and I was just like standing in the line for 3 hours for nothing. I was so pissed, but he was, he could have been more sympathetic, I guess you could say about it, because he could
Mm.
have said, I don't like to draw the Punisher. He's not my character. I really don't like him, so I really don't want to sketch him. But he was a jerk. He was like, "Nope, I don't do Punisher. Nope, you're not going to start. I don't like him. I'm not going to draw him. Not going to do it." I was like, but Todd, come on. He's like, nope, nope. I was like,
I think the only one I've ever met at a Comic-Con that was rude was Tamura Morrison, and it was years ago when he played Jango Fett. And I stood in line with a Jango Fett helmet for him to sign, and he really just was not interested. And it does not burst your bubble when you wait for hours and you meet this
yes,
person, and they're rude, and it's like, it's bad.
yeah,
And I've always kind of like, not disliked the guy because I don't mean it along those, but I've always looked at him every time I see him now. He's like Aquaman and Boba Fett on the tee, and you think, I'm done now. You blew it with me a long time ago. It's just a
yeah,
shame, isn't it? One impression.
yeah. I was just crushed, and to this very day, I will not buy Todd McFarlane merchandise or anything like that. I just won't. I mean, that's just. I mean, I was 17, 8, I was like 19 years old, and I thought the world just bowed at my feet. I guess I don't know. I just wanted a freaking Punisher drawn by Todd McFarlane,
It's
but
not
no.
the end of the world. I want it. Yeah.
And I had all of his early stuff, all of his, I guess it was like Teen Titans and stuff like
Mm.
that he did for DC, and then the Spider-Man stuff. And I was a huge Todd McFarlane fan. I went home that very after Comic Con was over with that next week, and I got rid of every single book I ever had of him, and I practically gave them away. And I had some autograph stuff from him that was probably worth quite a bit. But yeah, I had an original Spider-Man piece that he did back in '89. I was in Ontario, Canada, and I went to a convention that he was there, and he drew a very nice uh, Spider-Man piece for me. And like, if you find an original piece of Spider-Man artwork from Todd McFarlane now, it goes for thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars. And yeah, man, that did something to me. you know,
Yeah.
um, I couldn't get over it. So yeah, I'm not a Todd McFarlane fan. Great that he's been successful with his toy line, all the best and
Mm.
everything like that, but I just don't support him. Sorry, if I'm,
I get it.
offending any butthurt Todd McFarlane fans, but that's just me. But yeah, so all right, so let's answer a few more questions. You guys have been quiet tonight. There's been a few on here. Rob says it's Jeff Lemire. For me, total jerk, signed my books and slide them across the table, smearing the Sharpies. I gave them away. Oh gosh, man, why do that after all that work of him signing it? And he's just, here you go. What a tool. Can't believe that. So we got to talking about Bill Paxton. A lot of people commented on here. Glass Joe said Bill Paxton got killed by Predator, Aliens, and the Terminator. He did.
Yeah.
He
Lucky
did.
man. Yeah.
Oh man, that's tough. He almost got killed by a damn tornado in Twister.
What an accolade.
Weird Science was the one that I just remember him. Yeah. What did he say? A greasy pork chop in a dirty ashtray. Ruben Blades was in the Predator too. I like Ruben Blades. He hasn't done very much, I don't think. All right, guys. So we're a little over an hour. It's been very, very quiet. We got about 40 people watching. So let the questions fly. We've been running our mouths here for a little bit, talking about all kinds of stuff. But anything that you would like to know about Greedy 3D or the Creative Collector, or just anything in general, ask away and we'll try and answer it. But if you guys are just now tuning in, we got Tony here from Greedy 3D. He is a YouTuber like myself, got an amazing channel over there. And go over and subscribe to him, check him out, look at his videos. He's got a lot of great tutorials. He's got a lot of great paint ups. Check out his Tony Stank video. Amazing video. I love it. It's great. It's the statue over to his right shoulder back there. And Tony is one hell of a guy. He's a very nice person. He will help you out just like I will if you have any questions or about the hobby or anything like that. And yeah, so we got our first one here from Square One. He wants to know, Tony, how did you get into the hobby?
Wow. I saw a YouTube video just by complete chance of someone using an FDM printer and making something, and from the moment I saw that, I was just hooked on the ability to create something. I've always bought models when I was younger and painted them up, the Halcyon, the Airfix. But the thought of being able to make something of yourself and create something from nothing. So I bought an Ender 3, as I think most people start with an Ender 3
Yeah,
way back
I
then
still
they
got
did.
mine.
Yeah, and created my first ever Batman model, and that was it. I was hooked. And it's just grown from there, really. Just and I still, every time, I get amazed by being able to create something from nothing. That's how it feels every time
Mhm.
something comes off the printer. So that's how I got into it, purely by fluke of watching a random video, many years ago, and that's the story of that.
It's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think that's how a lot of us start. We watch a video, we're intrigued by it, then we got to try it, and then once we try it, it's like you're hooked. And,
It's
yeah.
an
So,
addiction.
and the
Yeah.
same thing kind of happened to me. I actually was on. Now, this is the true story. I'm not making this up. I never watched YouTube. I never, up until about 2 years ago. Now, my son was big into it. My daughter was into it. They're always watching videos on YouTube. I was not a social media kind of person. Even on my Facebook page right now, I don't post very much. I do in the Creative Collector group, but my personal Facebook page, I don't put much in there. So I'm not a social media guy, but I got on there a couple of years ago, and I was just kind of looking and stuff, and found some stuff on YouTube. I saw some 3D printing, and then I signed up for an Instagram account. Yeah, just 2 years ago, um, and the first thing that pops up was Wicked 3D, and I saw those models, and I was like, "Holy shit, that is amazing! I want to do that. I want to paint that model." And I think at the
Mm.
time it was and we're going way back for Wicked. I think this was their very first Captain America. I think where he's like with the other soldiers. It might be a tank that he's on, but I saw that one and I really dug it. I liked it, and then I saw the Captain America and Black Panther diorama, and then I just knew I had to subscribe. So I did that. I printed it out, painted it, posted it in their group just for fun. People really liked it, and then he does the inevitable thing, the one thing that you don't do to a Punisher fan who's trying to save money and trying to limit his collection. He goes and he puts out that Punisher and Daredevil diorama, and that was it.
Mm.
That was it. I painted it, and I did a video for it. And I think my first video was just kind of talking a little bit about 3D printing and my experience with it. And then I think the next one I did, and then my wife encouraged me. She's like, "You ought to put out a YouTube channel, you know." And so I did it and never looked back. So that's my story. So let's see here. What do you use to hobby with when you travel, or do you just take a break? That's a good question. I personally, I just take a break. I don't take anything with me when I travel.
Absolutely, I'm the same as you. Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes you do need to get away, and sometimes you do need to just stop,
Yeah.
and that's what I do. I take a break. Yeah, and it's not
Yeah.
very often though.
Yeah. I
But yeah,
mean, you can be overwhelmed at times, and yeah, so it's a yeah, take a break. I mean, even when you guys are printing and painting, Daryl wants to know, did I do the turtles 100% or bigger? I actually did them bigger because I think, if I'm not mistaken, they were a 1/10 scale from the original file, and I increased them by 50%. So theoretically, they're 1/6 scale, but I increased them 150% on the turtles. Thank you
they
for
are
asking.
lovely, by the way. They look really good. The cell shading on them was great. I did watch your video, and I thought you've put hours and hours and hours into that, haven't you?
That was a 3-week video.
Mm.
And we talked earlier about views and stuff like that. Do it for the love of the hobby and everything. I
Mm.
will be honest with you. When I got done, I didn't like them. I just didn't. I guess because I put so much time and effort into it, and this was even before I published the video, so it has nothing to do with views. It has nothing to do with. I mean, because I didn't get tremendous amount of views on them like I thought maybe I would have, but I'm okay with
Mm.
that. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. But I was just at the point of frustration with them. I just got to the point to where I bit off more than I could chew. Because I
Mm.
was thinking at first, I'll just do one turtle and, um, do the cell shading on one turtle because, that's I think that's one sufficient. And then I got to thinking, wait a second, this is the TMNT here. If you got to do one, you got to do all four. And that was probably foolish thinking on my part. So I took on too much. And because of that, because of the power outage that I had here, it was overwhelming. And I really got to the point where I was just like, I didn't like them. I mean, right now they're sitting over here on my stand. They're growing on me a little bit, but
Yeah, they
I
will.
don't. I'm not like just infatuated with them. I mean that's just me. Probably being hard on myself, but I did spend almost 3.5, 4 weeks on those models, and it was tiresome. It was very tiresome. I had to struggle to get myself through it, and I don't do that very often. I really don't. Um, so let's see. Glass Joe here says, love both channels, watch them all the time. How do you, if you do, weight the bases so they have more stability? So I don't weigh my bases.
No, I don't
I mean,
either.
I don't usually have to. I've been fortunate enough to where the modelers have engineered the pieces well enough to where they actually are pretty stable. Now I will glue a lot of the figures to the bases because I don't plan on shipping them, moving them, or anything like that. And I don't want the things to fall off, because with resin, the unfortunate thing is temperature is your worst enemy, because if it gets too hot, it can bend, it can warp. If it gets too cold, it can become brittle. So there's different factors in that sort of thing, and I don't like to take any chances with the models. I've actually thrown a couple away that actually started to kind of lean, but they weren't very engineered very well by the artist. So yeah.
Yeah, one of mine, that one there, the Ant-Man one. I came in the other day, and I don't know what had happened to it, but it had just fallen off the shelf and smashed on the floor. So
Yeah.
I needed to glue it together again, and I think that was to do with the heat that we'd had, and the glue just melted on it. It's gutted, absolutely gutted. But I have weighted things in the past when I've done my own bases. Sometimes you have to weight it with something or other to stop it from falling over, obviously. I've put some clay in the bottom of one that I did, or I've just made, what else did I used some clay and I used something else. I used some metal underneath, which I attached to it just to give it a little bit of weight. But you tend to find that, especially with Wicked, when their models don't need weighting at all, everything,
yeah.
it's just
I
perfect.
think there's one situation to where I made a model and I can't find it amongst this mess here, but I actually did. I got some casting resin from Smooth On that I had that I was casting models years ago, and I think I just used some of it. Just poured a little bit in the base, let it dry. Poured a little bit more in there and let it dry, and it become weighted so the model wouldn't flip over or anything.
That one there, the Boba Fett one, I didn't do the full base. And when I did just a small base on it, that's the one I put some clay inside, just to weigh it down so it doesn't topple.
Yeah, because he's like going back like this with the guns, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that might needed that one. Good call on that one. So I'm getting blamed for something here. Thanks, Rob. Rob says he got into this. It's all my fault. I will gladly take that blame.
Good
Rob's
accolade.
one of my Patreon members. So thank you, Rob, for all your support. Max wants to know, how long do you let your models dry before curing? Yours look so dry and clean before you put them in the curing box. Well, if you're talking with me, I actually let my parts dry out for 24 hours. I know a lot of people will wash them, let them out 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 2 hours later, they're curing them. I don't do that. So I'm actually, my next video that I'm working on is I'm actually going to show you my process of how to clean resin prints. And I do it a little different than what most people do, because you just have to watch the video. I don't want to give it away. That way people go, oh, well, I don't have to watch the video now. But yeah, I do this for all of my parts, because when you get something that's like this, that is so detailed, and this is just now cured. And if you didn't see this earlier, this is an upcoming piece from Black Forge Games. This is a bust that I'm working on. But the level of detail on that thing, let me take the helmet off so you can see a little bit into the light. But that right there, if you're not careful, you can get a lot of pooling and stuff like that in some of the fine lines. and it can be just a disaster for your piece. So in the next video, I'll show you how I do it. And it's always worked for me, and I'm not going to change that process. I mean, it's very simple, but I think a lot of people are unaware of it. So, yeah.
Yeah. I do let things drain as well. I'll always put something on some tissue paper and
Yes.
just leave it, because the problem you've got is if you don't do that and you cure it straight away, then you glue everything together. The stuff that's inside will find a way out, and it will ruin
Mhm.
your work, and your paint won't stick to it. So it's worth just leaving it for as Henry says, 24 hours,
Yeah.
just to drain out and make sure you've got it. Well, I usually make sure I'll squirt a syringe through it when I'm cleaning it. I'll put a hairdryer inside to try and dry it, but I'll leave it and just let gravity do its thing, and try and empty it out.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've seen people take like a compressor or something like that with an air gun and blow the
Mm.
stuff out. I mean, if that's your thing, that's fine, but you're going to blow out your model. I mean, depending on how thick it is or whatever. I've seen a guy do
Mm.
that. He actually did a video. He was like, boom, like that whole side of the model just blow out. Um,
Wow.
so, I mean, just let it do it naturally. The one thing that I always say from the first video I've ever made is in this business, or not a business, but in this hobby, you have to have patience. Don't get in a hurry. Take your
Mm.
time. It's guess what? You don't have to get out there and produce a model before the next person. You don't have to get out there and beat them to it and post it on
Mm.
YouTube or whatever. Just have fun with it. Just be patient. And I
And you're looking
promise
at
you,
that model for a long time, aren't you? You're
yeah, I
looking at
mean,
it for a long time.
and I promise you it's going to turn out better than you think. I mean, but if you go and you rush it, then you're asking for a world of hurt. I mean, so
Mm.
take your time with it, be patient with it. Um, let's see. Rob says, "What is the first thing you each printed?" Well, I talked about mine earlier. I think you talked about yours.
Yeah,
So I think,
Batman bust.
yeah, the
Just
Batman
a
bust.
black Batman bust in black PLA with two white eyes. That was done.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
and mine
Creation complete.
was the Captain America thing from Wicked 3D. I went straight headfirst into resin printing, and
No, I didn't.
then I went to PLA. So I kind of did a little bit of a backwards sort of thing there. Let's see. Yeah, my wife was right. She said that on the turtles, I turned it into an obligation to get them done.
Mm.
But I think it was because I had a lot of time vested in them already. And I'm like,
Mm.
I'm not, because I told her a couple of times, I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to do the video. I'm just going to chunk them and not do it. And then she's like, okay. My wife is so supportive. She's the best. I mean, if I say, I'm going to print a 9-foot gorilla, she's be like, hashtag backlog, Henry, but okay. Or if I go, I'm just going to probably throw everything in here away, she'd be like,
Mm.
okay, it's your choice. So she's super supportive. But yeah, she's right. I turned it into an obligation, and I don't want to do that again. If I get into a
Mm.
position to where I'm doing a piece and it becomes that way, I will stop and just get rid of it. I mean, and again, it's I was frustrated because I just wasn't finishing. It wasn't turning out the way I really wanted it. In the end, it did, but it took a long way to get there.
I think we've all had those pieces, haven't we, that we've been
Yeah,
working on, and you don't enjoy it, and you just want it to end, and
yeah,
that's not right. And it probably is a good time when that happens to put your brush down, take a break, walk away.
yeah.
You've got to do it for the right reason, haven't you? And it's hard.
And that's kind of like what has happened with this one here with the Juggernaut and Colossus.
Mm.
I did it. I put it together. I had quite a few failed pieces on that, and because of the size of it, and because of the printer I was using was that M3 Max from Anycubic, and Anycubic, your M3 Max sucks, by the way. But that was just a problem child, and then finally, after multiple prints, I finally got it done. And by the time I got it done, I was spent.
Mm.
I didn't want to really do anything. I'm really wanting to get it finished now. I'm the type of person, if I print something and I don't want to paint it right away, I won't.
Mm.
That thing will sit on the shelf for a year. And then if I look at it one day and I go, I really want to paint that, then I'll do it.
Mm.
But I don't, I love to print and I love that sort of aspect, but I don't always like to paint. And that sounds weird, but
No, I understand that.
there's times where I'll print a piece and I'll paint it right away because I really just want to do it. But there's times where I'll print something and I just lose interest in it for a little bit. I don't know if that's just how I am, I guess. I mean, but it's nothing, to do with the model itself. The model, I still want to finish it, but I'm going to move on to something else for the time being and put that on the back burner.
Mm.
So I've done that plenty of times. So Glass Joe says, also, what is the best way to upscale models when they are 1/6 and you want to do 1/4? Is there a simple equation to making that upsize? 50%. 1/6 to 1/4 is basically 50%. If you need some type of scaling tool, go over to Sanix. Sanix has one that's actually really good that you could that's easy to use. It's very user friendly and stuff, and you'll be like blown away how simple it is. Mr. Bamboo Taco, here's the trick question: do you still like the Incure? I do. I like it. I will tell you that I think the people from Incure don't like me too much right now because of I put in my video. They're one of their big selling points is it cures a print in 2 minutes or less. Speedy printing or speedy curing. I don't think it does. I tried it on multiple pieces, and keep in mind I print my pieces fairly thin at like 1.5 millimeter to 1.8 millimeter, and I printed a couple of smaller pieces. I tested it. I think it was 4 separate pieces, 2 minutes each, and the resin was still gummy. So went to 3 minutes, and on a couple of pieces it cured it. I had to go to 5 minutes on one, and it cured it. So I said in my video that I think that my opinion is I think it takes longer than 2 minutes. They didn't like that too much. Sorry, I'm just being honest, but yeah, so they but
Isn't that another example, though? You're being honest to what you think and from your experience, and that's an important thing. You shouldn't have to be sent something for you then to blow bubbles out of its backside and not be able to criticize them.
That's one thing that's one thing I just won't do is when I do a review, I won't give somebody just false information and say, "Oh, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread." I won't do it. If it's not that great, then I'm going to let the public know. If it is great, I'll let you know. Because
that interview looked pretty good. It looked good. I'm not a faff putting it together from what I could see, but it looked like you had a lovely end result, and it looked like it did the job.
Yeah, it's a good machine. I've got it sitting right in front of me right now. I've got several pieces I've cured on it. My big Tenjin piece this is the torso of it, and it's pretty massive. It's a 1/3 scale, and it comes in pieces. There's the whole thing you got to put together. But this thing, they actually hollow out the model for you. So you just put it on the build plate and go. So this thing is actually 3.5 millimeters thick. It's heavy. This is probably weighs about 4 pounds. But it's about 3, maybe 4 millimeters thick. And it took about 15 minutes to cure it, to get it all cured all the way through, which is fine. I'm fine by that, But if your selling point is, hey, it cures in 2 minutes or less, and for what size print? But I'm not going to BS some people because the company says to. And they asked me, they emailed me back and said, hey, can you edit that part out of the video? And I said, nope, can't do it. So anyway, so let's see here. Square One says he uses an air compressor with a basketball to blow out the pieces. I've heard of that. And then use a 3 millimeter light on the inside. So yeah, UV.
I can use LEDs inside. Yeah.
Right. Crypto says the best results take time. Yeah. Even if it didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, it was a learning experience. You tried it, and now it's something you didn't like, but you probably picked up some tricks that will help you. Absolutely. So I always tell people, be a sponge, soak up everything. Because even though I finished the turtles and I didn't like them all that much in the end, it made me think I want to do a black and gray piece. I did the cell shading thing, and now I want to do just the solid black and gray, just like tattooing, tattoos or whatever like that. I want to do like what a tattoo artist does. They work in black and gray, not black and white, black and gray. So that's down the road. I'm definitely going to do something like that down the road. All right. So any other questions, guys? I think we kind of got through a lot of them. You guys have some good questions. the questions keep coming over and over again. Oh, I forgot about Dan. Dan wanted to know what airbrush and compressor I'm using. Um, so right now I'm using I have several airbrushes, but right now I'm using the Iwata Neo
Yeah,
is what I'm
it's the
using.
same one. Yeah.
And the compressor I'm using is a master compressor, which it does fine. However, I've got, and you even got, Tony, we got some of these
Yeah.
nice gallery brushes. Yay. So, so we got to try these out.
Yeah.
Shameless plug for gallery right here. And when I was on the live stream last week when I showed everybody the ones that I got, the ones you just showed, and like a lot of people posted that we use them already and they're great.
Mm.
So that's pretty cool that
I'm
people are
looking forward
already
to trying
using
them.
them and they get good results out of them. So that's
I'm
awesome.
still using my TimberTech compressor. That is the first one I bought, which was the cheapest one off Amazon. I did a review on it. I'm still using it. It's still going strong, and until it stops working, I won't be buying another one. It's
Right,
doing the
right.
job perfectly.
I think the first compressor I got was years and years ago. I got a one from Harbor Freight, and man, that thing lasted for like 8 years. Because I used to airbrush shirts, and I used to paint motorcycle gas tanks. I used to build choppers back in the day, about 20 odd years ago. I used to hand fabricate them. I co-owned a shop with a guy, and my thing was I love pinstriping and painting flames and stuff like that on gas tanks and everything. And but yeah, I used that little compressor for airbrush to airbrush a lot of the flames. I actually did a bike piece with Mike LaValle. If you know who Mike LaValle is, he does the realistic flames on a lot of choppers, cars, and stuff like that. The guy's just a total auto body artist, and I'm not sure what he does now. It's been years since I've talked to him, but we did a piece together, and yeah, I used that little compressor for that motorcycle, so it was pretty
I
cool.
never expected this one to last as long as it has. It's been 2.5 years now.
Yeah,
But, it's getting strong
yeah.
for eight. I think it's about 80 quid with an airbrush. Fabulous.
And when it comes to airbrushes and air compressors, I'm not one to go out and spend a ton of money.
Mm.
You
I don't
know
think you
what's
need to.
Yeah, I mean, what's the Steenbeck or whatever like that? Those that cost like 300 and something
Mm.
dollars a piece. I will never.
My
So Daryl,
my oil water was more expensive than the compressor and an airbrush I bought. But
yeah, yeah,
nice looking.
yeah. Daryl knows who Mike LaValle is. But yeah, he's unreal with flames. He does some realistic stuff on some on motorcycles and everything. That's taking me way back, man. That's crazy. I've still got all my HVLP guns and all my pinstriping tools and everything like that. So what I would love to do while we're on that subject on this desk here, I'm going to paint it black. I have this matte on here right now because of the color. It's still primered wood, but I want to paint flames on my desk, just big flames. So I don't know if that'll look good or not, but I always like to paint flames. Yeah, he invented real flames. Yeah, Huey's right. The guy's just, if you've ever wanted to learn how to paint flames, realistic flames on a model, look at his colorization pattern that he uses. That's what I use. I use the same thing. I start with a light, or I start with a black base, go with a light, and then I start going in with midtones. But he invented that. He showed me like all kinds of stuff on that, and just made me so much. I think I just learned so much from him and different artists too. But yeah, he's a master at what he does. So Quinn says, "Do it." I'm thinking about it, man. I'm really thinking about it, and I'll probably make a video of it. So I got all kinds of videos I want to do that are not 3D printed related that pertains to this room. So like I'm gonna do a video on my Punisher collection, on my Punisher statue collection, and this is probably, as far as I know, the largest statue Punisher collection out there. Period, bar none. I think I have over 340 statues of the Punisher by himself. So I'm going to do, it's probably going to be like a 30-minute video, but I'm going to do a video on it. I'm going to do a video on doing the desk, my streaming setup and everything. That's just fun stuff. But I am going to start doing, like you said, there's other things that I want to do. I'm going to do some cosplay. And I'm actually going to do probably some 1/6 scale stuff because I printed heads and stuff like that for my figures, accessories and everything like that. And I can show people how to, if you're into that sort of thing. And look, I don't care if it gets 5 views. I don't care if it gets 5 million views. It's something I want to do, and
That's what it's all about.
that's what it's about. Daryl says, I'm 40. I grew up on Mike and Jesse and OCC Monster Garage, Pimp My Ride. Yeah, so I didn't do the Pimp My Ride thing too much, but Monster Garage was okay. I really like the whole, what was it, overhauling, the one with the Chip Foos and all those guys. And I've met Chip a couple times, and he's just a super dude. He is so nice and so down to earth and humble. But I met Boyd Coddington before, and he was not a nice guy. I used to go to a lot of car and bike shows back in my day. Yeah, so got a lot of neat photographs and bikes that I did. We entered in contests and stuff. But I got my start painting, fenders and cars and stuff like that, hoods, for my dad. My dad was a mechanic, and that's what really got me started. And I started painting that stuff at like 8 years old. So I was always wanting to be like my dad. My dad was my hero, and he was a mechanic. The guy was a whiz with engines and anything to do with a car, vehicle, tank, aircraft. It didn't matter. The guy was he was amazing with his hands. I mean, he just one hell of a guy. And he was like, "Oh, you want something to do? Grab that piece of sandpaper and sand that down." And he thought he's just trying to get me out of his hair. And I'd be sitting over there, half a hood done. I'm like, and he'd be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Doing what you told me to, Dad. I'm sanding." And the next thing you know, I was like, "What do you put on this after you sand?" He goes, "You put primer on it." And without asking him or anything like that, I'm going and I'm getting cans of primer and spraying it on there. So yeah. And my brother was a big mechanic too. We're old car guys. So yeah. All right, guys. An hour and 37 minutes. Geez. And Tony, I'm probably sure you got to get in the bed, right?
Yeah, 2:36. Yeah, it's getting
Oh
early, late. Mind you, I messaged you earlier and you replied. And I thought, oh God, it must be about 4 a.m. in America when I asked you about the link for this video. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning my time, but you replied straight away, and I thought, surely it's the middle of the night there. But
It was. So there's a lot of times where I get up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom. I don't sleep a lot. I just don't. I have problems sleeping a lot of times. So yeah, several years ago, I was diagnosed with sleep apnea and narcolepsy. So I'm one of those that my narcolepsy is not to the point to where I'm just like sitting there talking to you and all of a sudden I'm out.
Yeah.
But if I sit down for too long, I'm done. I just, I'm done. I mean, so I get tired very easily. So I nap often during the day sometimes. And that was one of those times where I'm wide awake. I'll be wide awake. And then I'll get my phone and it helps me put me back to sleep. So, yeah.
Yeah, I did think that when I saw that. That's why I didn't reply, because I thought,
yeah, my wife's over here asleep and I'm up on my phone and she gets mad because the light from the phone wakes her up.
To me as well. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, so I kind of roll over and I'm on my phone and oh, Tony's messaging me. Okay. Yeah, my wife says, yeah, if I sit down, period. So a lot of times when you see me on these live streams, I don't shut up. I just keep going, talking. So yeah. Movie announcer voice. In a world where a man collects Punisher figures, he has the largest collection this summer. The Creative Collector 9-minute docu-series, 90 minutes. That's probably accurate because I have so much. Geez. But yeah, guys, another good live stream. I appreciate Tony for coming out and wasting his time and talking with us. He's always welcome here.
Love it.
So Quinn says the wife is getting that new non-CPAP deal. So let me tell you about that. I can't use a CPAP because I have a failed septum in my nose. So when I was a kid, my uncle decided in his infinite wisdom to shove a smelling salt up my nose, and it burned my septum, burned a
Right.
complete hole in my nose, and I had to have surgery, and they had to fold the septum over to one side. So I basically breathe out of one side of my nose. I've tried a CPAP, and it makes me stop breathing. So there's a couple times, when I tried it, and I wake up or my wife wakes me up, she practically has to slap the shit out of me to get me to wake up because I stopped breathing. So that's a no-no. I
Mm.
am supposed to have surgery on my septum here. So that is going to happen in the near future too. So you might see me on a live stream with my face all bandaged up. But
Bless
yeah.
you.
Anyway, thank you guys for enjoying the weekend or the night with us and everything. And I really, really appreciate all your questions. I appreciate your support of the channel and the live stream. It's getting late here, and I think everybody's starting to kind of vanish a little bit. And Tony's got to get in the bed. I've got to get in the bed. Got work tomorrow. But Tony, thank you for coming on aboard. I appreciate it. We love you, man. And if you guys have not checked out Greedy 3D, then shame on you. Get over there and check him out right now, guys.
God
Thank
bless
you
you.
for coming out tonight. I appreciate the questions. And by all means, check out my Patreon. Check out my merch. If you want to be a member of the Patreon, $10 gets you the model of the month. This month is Ghost Rider. And then this coming month, we're doing a Craven's Last Hunt. And that is what I'm doing in my Patreon. Tony, do you want to plug your channel? Anything you got going on over there right now?
Yeah, just thank you for your support, guys. If you want to come and check out the channel, come and do so. If you want to subscribe, that'd be great. That'd mean more than anything, really. Just come along, leave some comments on the videos. I hope you enjoy what you see, and that's it from me. Come and have a look. I hope you enjoy it, and that's what works for me. If it works for you,
Awesome. Yeah, awesome, guys. Thank you so much on behalf of Tony and Greedy 3D for all your
thank you,
support.
guys.
We love you guys. And stay safe out there. Get out and create something. Print, paint, repeat. And until the next live stream, we'll see you.
Thanks, Henry.
Thank you.